listening to the first episode of the Woodsaw Rituals. I am the Woodsaw, and this is Herman the Dragon. Behold his obvious dominance on everything. He is the inspiration for today's illustration, and my filthy human counterpart will show you what we drew right now. Alright, let's get into this.
Sorry about that. Some residual werewolf. Let's get on this drawing. So when I do start on a piece that I know is going to get the full treatment, I do always start out with graphite, and my go-to is just a mechanical pencil. I just like the control I get with it. Bearded dragons are kind of built like spike-covered tanks. That's why they look so friggin' cool. I chose to draw this dude in full-on Blackbeard defense mode. It's their way of letting you know to back off. When I get to the inking stage, I almost always go with a Micron 03 pen. For me, it's not too thin and not too thick. This honestly might be my favorite step in the process. I just love laying down ink, and it's just kind of when you get to see your drawing come to life. I got Herman in May of 2021. He was just the size of my thumb when I got him. They explode in their first year. It's crazy to watch. Anyways, when I got him, I instantly wanted to start doing bearded dragon art. And as you might expect, I have about 1 million pictures of him in my phone. So I have just a ton of reference material to help me out with his anatomy and what I want to exaggerate in this drawing. For example, I really wanted to focus obviously on the expansion of the beard, their giant mouth when they're in that defense mode. But also I wanted to focus on their third eye, because they technically do have a third eye. They evolved to have this gland called the parietal gland, and it's a light sensitive organ on the top of their head. It detects changes of light and shadow. So this is like super helpful, obviously, if there's a giant bird of prey overhead. He can see the shadow of it just from that parietal eye and go and hide real quick and not get eaten up. In real life, you probably wouldn't notice this parietal eye just looking at them. It's pretty subtle, but it's such a cool feature, and I really wanted to make it prominent in this drawing and just kind of give this creature a all-knowing and menacing expression. I'm thinking of this dragon as kind of a bearded dragon overlord or an ambassador for the species. Maybe they're becoming the dominant species on Earth in some sort of campaign against the human race. You know, something wholesome like that. If you haven't noticed yet, my sense of humor and imagination are pretty morbid. I love morbid art in general, like all across the board. I'm definitely obsessed with the underground metal music scene, horror movies, science fiction, everything. I know it's not October anymore, but I kind of wish it was. I love October. I always just marathon watch horror movies all month long. I watched some real bangers this year too. A couple of notable favorites. I don't know if anyone has seen The Wailing. It's a 2016 Korean folk horror movie, and that movie is so impressive. It's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen, period. So definitely check that one out. And I finally checked out The Substance this year. I don't know what took me so long, but I'm so glad I finally saw it. It knocked my socks off. It's just an incredible horror movie. And I watched Weapons for the second time. That movie was probably even better the second time around. I'm a big fan of that director, Zach Kreger. I thought his other movie, Barbarian, was just fantastic too. And the new VHS this year, the VHS Halloween, was a blast. I loved it. So definitely check that one out. To kind of get back on subject a little bit anyways, I did want to get into why I created this YouTube channel. To be completely honest, I was pretty stagnant artistically for longer than I would like to admit. There are several reasons why, but I came to realize that there's only one big reason, and that's because of a crushing amount of self-doubt and, fear of putting yourself out there. I know I'm not alone here at all. Self-doubt, depression, and anxiety plague almost all artists, I believe. I think it's just something we all have to battle with and overcome. I veered away from my art because of this, though. I'm definitely not proud of that. But over the course of the last couple of years, I've been feeling inspired again. And that drive, that creative flame that I thought was gone, that I thought was snuffed out, it started to pick at my brain again, saying, what are you doing? Why aren't you drawing? Why aren't you creating? And I didn't really have a choice but to listen to it. So I started to force myself to draw more and more and more. And now I just want to make this happen. I need to make this happen. But I am one of these people that needs structure. So I thought if I created a YouTube channel that required me to put out art and share my art with the world, it would make me hold myself accountable, to have a reason to draw something every day, to shut off that negative internal dialogue and just create. Shortly after I made this decision, I came across a YouTube channel called Draw Sessions with a concept artist whose name is Bobby Rebholes. Not only is he just an absolutely incredible artist, he has a lot of insightful and motivational things to say. Things that really resonated with me at that moment in time when I found that channel. He speaks about how it's never too late to get back into your art, to stop beating yourself up and just start creating art again. So if you're like me and you've been holding yourself back from getting into your art again, just try to make time for it, whatever time you have, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour. Just sit down, free your mind from the negative thoughts that stop you, and just start laying down lines or paint or whatever your preferred medium is. Just let go. When I started this piece, I did have an idea for it in my head, but I decided when I sat down, I would just let it turn into whatever felt right. I started with just the bearded dragon head on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Then I had another idea, and I taped another piece of paper to the first piece of paper and expanded on that idea. I did that until I had 6 pieces of paper taped together, resulting in a design that I actually really liked. It was the most free-formed approach to making this piece, and it snapped me out of my slump. These dragon monster hands were challenging. I obviously made them more humanoid than lizard. What I ended up doing to get the positioning the way I wanted it was just taking a picture of my own hands in a similar position and studying that, and it ended up working. Finally, we get to the dragon's prize inside the skull. I can just imagine this giant bearded dragon coming across these human bones, picking up the skull, and a big old cockroach is hiding inside. The cockroach looks like it's offering up the skull in exchange for its life. Cockroaches are pretty fun to draw, and bearded dragons love eating them. I based these 2 cockroaches that are in this piece off of American cockroaches. I currently live in the southwest of the United States, so I see these big honkers out on the streets when I'm out for a night walk, and I usually get out of their way. I do have a go-to anatomy book that I flip through whenever I'm drawing human bones and muscle and things like that. The one I really like to look through is called Anatomy for the Artist by Sarah Simblett and photography by John Davis. It's just a really cool book. It has kind of these transparent overlays of the artist drawings on top of like pictures of a model. And it's just like a really nice way of looking at how to draw the inside of the human body. So I definitely highly recommend that book. Studying the human anatomy is of the utmost importance if you plan on doing any sort of figurative art. I think right about now is a good time to take a break and check in with Herman.
It's Herman time!
This little dude just woke up from brumation, which means he's been hibernating essentially. He slept for about 2 months. Sometimes he goes longer. Sometimes he'll go for close to 4 months, which is pretty crazy, but he always just kind of slowly comes out. It's a little hard for him to move around at first. Oh, not that way, buddy. But within about a week or 2, he's just right back to normal, running around like a madman around my apartment, jumping and crash landing on everything, head bobbing. But say hello, Herman. If you've made it this far in the video, I just wanted to thank you for sticking around and checking out this silly art video that I made. It really is DIY. I just shot all of this with my phone, and I'm learning as I go with the video editing in DaVinci Resolve, the free version, which is excellent, by the way, if you're looking to get into anything like this. The free version of DaVinci Resolve is pretty cool, and it's fun to learn how to use it too. But yeah, I did not know what I was doing. I don't think it's like that hard to tell, but yeah, I didn't know what I was doing when I started this, and I still don't really, but I'm learning and I can only get better. So I hope that you guys stick around and keep checking out my videos. The next one is going to be the final part of this illustration where I color it and just clean it up and make it look more professional, and I'll be able to sell some screen prints of this, and I should have those at least available for pre-sale by the time the second video comes out. So things you can expect in the future from these videos is a continuation of this theme of choosing kind of the more oddball predators in the world. So I'll just choose a different animal to work with, and I'll create an illustration of them kind of hunting their prey amongst the bones of humans. That's the theme I've chosen. And there's a lot of animals that I want to draw and want to apply my style to. And I have the next one already lined up. I'm not going to reveal that yet, but I'm excited to draw them. I see these animals when I go out on my hikes. I am an avid hiker, and it's a cool animal that I get to see hiking around the desert. Oh yeah, and don't worry, we will be checking in on Herman every episode because he is the best, and I'm sure all of you would like to see more of him. The last part of all of these videos will be the Wolfman giving album suggestions to you. These will be the albums that I listen to while drawing each picture. They will not be album reviews. They'll just be like, I think this rips. Maybe you do too. So get in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you have any horror movie or sci-fi movie suggestions, any underground metal music. I eat all of that stuff for energy, and I love talking about it. So thanks again, everyone, and I'll let the Wolfman take us home.
Tune in next week for the conclusion of this illustration. But before we part, I have some recommendations. I implore you to listen to Caustic Wound, Grinding Mechanism of Torment. It grinds, it death metals, you listen to it, you love it. Next, we have the split between Dream Unending and Worm, Star Path. You must listen to this. Next, we have Hedonist Scapulomancy. This is crusty death metal at its finest. Check it out. And this is Fulci's Tropical Sun. If you're a fan of death metal and horror movies, you must listen. That's it for today, folks. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you liked today's content, and I know you did. Goodbye.